Guys, welcome to another session with the Lioness Taffy. Today, I am joined with a very special guest, Reverend Joseph Quarcoo, all the way from, well, originally from Ghana, all the way in London. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to have a beautiful conversation. He's a visionary, a leader, and amongst many titles, he is an urban scholar,
Mm.
applied social psychologist,
Ooh la la.
faith leader, publisher, and musician whose work sits at the intersection of faith. He is also the founder of Voice One Africa and Guiding Light Press, and he also has founded this initiative called Nkosua. I know I said it incorrectly, but I think it's Nkosua Initiative Foundation. So
Awesome.
you hold all those titles. Like I'm honored to have you on this platform. Like who
Come
am
on,
I?
Taffy. Come on, Taffy.
No, you don't understand. It's like how do I a part of me feels like you're going to do psychology on me tonight.
So when I sent you my bio, I think today, I was just sitting down and I'll be mentoring a few students at the Goldsmith University in
Mhm.
next month. Yeah. So I sent my bio to them and I read the bio and I was like, this doesn't look like me. So I I asked I uploaded my CV on ChatGTP and asked ChatGPT
Yeah,
and uploaded a bio as well and said that is this
yeah,
really me? And it was
yeah.
like, oh, sometimes visionaries can come across as well, imposter syndrome, or could have something that could feel something like imposter syndrome. But after reviewing everything, he was like, that's exactly you. I was like, okay,
Exactly.
yeah, but
Those when
I don't feel any special. I don't feel like I've accomplished so much anyway. But it's just like when you hear people saying it or when you read it, it sounds like you've done something really good, big or good. But I don't know.
you're just being humble. You have, because it's an accumulation of the years, the practice that you've gone through, the challenges that you've been through,
Mm.
and also how you've overcome that. So when I look at the bio, I'm like, okay, so you've been through life, and I'm looking at it from a 25-year-old perspective. I'm like, so if he can do it and he's human being, then I can also do it. So don't downplay it. Don't downplay it.
I hear
Talking
you,
about
Taffy.
that. So who
I
is
hear you, Taffy.
Reverend Joseph Quarcoo? Tell me a life story. I know the life story. How did you grow up? Who are you behind all those titles?
Ooh, you didn't tell me you're gonna ask that. So, I'm just a guy who grew up in Accra. I grew up my earlier years, maybe first 3 or 5 years, I was in Osu. That's where I was born in the heart of Accra. That's my hometown, and it's in the capital city. So my hometown, people averagely most people's hometown is a village, but my hometown is like the center of the capital. So I don't have a village. My village is the city. And what that means is that, we're kind of kicked out of the space because now it's so expensive. We can't even afford to own a land in our own hometown. But yeah, let me just, yeah, so that's where I started my life. And then I moved to North Kanishi where I grew up, went through my primary school, still in Accra, primary school. And then when it got to my secondary school, I moved to the eastern region of Ghana, Koforidua, where I spent 3 years, 4 years in high school. I studied general arts. Then from there, general arts, my electives were what? Elective maths, geography, economics, and government. So those were the four things I studied in my high school or secondary school, senior secondary school. Then from there to the university. Yeah, I spent my first degree, University of Ghana, um,
Mm-hmm.
in psychology. So at the onset, at the University of Ghana, they give you 4 programs, like 4 courses. So I was doing Arabic. I did Arabic, history, archaeology, and psychology. But I knew I was going to major in psychology. So as you progress, you drop the courses and then you keep either one or two. So I dropped Arabic first. I did love Arabic. Arabic is a romantic language. I really love
I
Arabic.
can
And
imagine.
I loved it, but I just it kept my GPA was going down because of Arabic, so I had to
You're
drop
like,
that first.
not today.
Maybe I'll learn it again. So I dropped that first, and then I dropped history second. So I graduated with psychology as my major and archaeology as my minor. Then after that, I worked a year as a teaching assistant in the University of Ghana Psychology Department. Then I did my first master's in social psychology. For 2 years, actually, because I didn't finish my thesis on time. So I had to extend, and I completed. I was supposed to complete in 2 years, but I graduated in my third year. I spent 3 years to graduate for a 2-year program. After that, but whilst I was doing my master's, I was teaching, like I was a graduate assistant. So I was teaching, and I was also working as like market research, working in industry as well. So maybe that was it, but it was mainly my supervisor. She was not available most of the time, but yeah, let me take responsibility. Let me take responsibility.
Trust me, I think we all have trauma when it comes to thesis. Like I have my own fair share of trauma, like doing my bachelor's. Like I'm glad that's finished.
I know,
So
I
what
know.
happens after that?
Yeah, so after the 3-year master's program, social psychology, I graduated, and I went fully into work, corporate world. My first job was quite challenging. I wasn't getting like a proper job.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to my archaeology lecturer, who became a very good friend. Fritz Beveridge, and he was telling me that um, your first job is never really your most ideal job. It's not like the job you really want. You hardly
What
get
is
that as your first job.
what is your first job? My very first job was selling insurance, like going on people's doors and like
Ooh la
knocking
la.
and be like, I need your ID and your banking details and sign up for this insurance that I don't even have.
So yes, mine was also marketing. So I was a sales executive for a publishing. So the company represented most of the publishing companies in the renowned companies like Sage, Elsevier, Pearson, like name all the big publishing, global publishing houses, Macmillan, all of that. So we were distributing and marketing to universities and institutions like and for the high schools, the international schools, so those doing the GCSEs and the IB curricula in Africa and in Ghana particularly. So that was what I did as a marketing executive. It was a tough one. It was good. I mean, I loved talking, and I felt that psychology was related. Social psychology is about attitude, changing attitude, perception, persuasion, stuff like that. So I felt I was really related. Yeah. I did that for a couple of years. I actually rose through the ranks to become the director of marketing for that company. Yeah. It was a US. It was a U. Oh no. So that was actually my second job. That was actually my second job. So my first one, so that was my second one. My first one was with, why am I confused?
Because it's been many years.
But it's also, it is, but they are both marketing. So the one that I became the marketing director eventually was what do you call it? A debt recovery and account collection firm. So yeah, I started with the publishing one. That was where I started with. That was my first job. Then I moved from there, I think after 2 years, to the what do you call it, debt recovery firm, where I also started as a marketer. but eventually I became the director of marketing for that one. That one was a US. The guy who started the firm was a US citizen who came to start an expat. So he came to start a company. So yeah, and by the time I was leaving that company, we had like expanded the portfolio from just around say 500,000 Ghana city to over $2 million. Yeah, in terms of portfolio that we were collecting.
I love the way you're humble about this.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you enter into a company at the end of the day you become a director? Like, that's not normal behavior. Like,
No,
it's
yo,
like,
but
what are you?
truth is,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the and one thing I've observed about me, it's I love startups or things that are growing or things that give me a challenge. Right. I think when we come to the echo, that thing that the program I want to talk to you about, when we come to that, you see. So when I did my initial assessment of myself in second year, I got to know that I love to start things. And
Yeah.
part of my personality, I want to help people build things. So
I love that.
when I joined that company, it has suffered a loss. They started as a microcredit and the company was just folding up. So I came in, kind of helped them restructure and everything. So the guy saw that no, this guy has more than
Yeah.
he can do more than
Yeah, you have
just
all the qualities.
marketing. So from there, that was how it started. Yeah.
I love that. I'm just listening to everything and I'm like, wait, so you've been doing this for years. You've been good at what you do and putting your best foot forward. But before I go into the most deep things, you say you're from Ghana and I love jollof rice.
Ooh la la.
And can we settle this? You probably have also tasted Nigerian jollof,
I
but
have.
what do you are you like all Ghanaian jollof or you like Nigerian jollof?
Oh no, Ghanaian jollof hands down. Yes, it hands down, please. Sorry to my Nigerian friends. Sorry to my Nigerian friends, but Ghana jollof hands down, man.
I'm
It's
telling
no.
you that I met so many Ghanaian people at varsity and I enjoyed the food. One thing I discovered about you guys always have an egg with every meal. I was like, which you guys always. But I love the spices, I love the food, and I was just like, what is happening? Because I'm just used to like pop, vegetables, beef, and then suddenly it's like all this delicious food. Like, man, no, that I need to
And
definitely visit Ghana.
it's great. And for me, when I was in South Africa, pub was something I really enjoyed. Pub was something I
Really?
really enjoyed. Yes, it was a bit new to me. It's not new per se, but the way the South African did this was unique. Yeah, and the Mopani worms. Oh, that was that was something.
Oh, like when I think about mopane worms, like when you see the picture of it, you're like, I would never eat that. But then when someone cooks it
Mm,
nicely, that's when you're like,
mm.
oh, man. Somebody's gonna judge me for wanting to have more bunny worms. But anyways, guys, we just have like icebreaker stuff. So if you're not a foodie, I don't know. You can I
Mm.
won't say exit, but like stay with us so that you can learn more about food and everything. But
Yeah.
to the topic of the day, I've seen that you talked about how you were brought up. I just want to find out, were you an only child? Did you have siblings? Were your parents always supportive of your dreams? Is it something like now when you support startups, did that come from your household? Where did that come from?
And so no, I wasn't an only child. So I've got actually a big family. So my biological dad. So I say biological, so you know that there's a stepdad. So
Sorry.
so yeah, I lost my biological dad quite when I was quite young. I think I was 3. I sincerely I don't remember anything about him. So yeah, I was like 3, 4 years old or so. So I don't remember anything about it. Just for the pictures I've seen with him holding me and stuff like that. But apart from that, I don't remember anything from. about him. So then, so that was, I have a biological brother. So the two of us, same father, same mother. And then I've got step sisters and step brothers. It's a really huge one. But my nuclear family, where my mom remarried, so I have two step sisters and then a step brother. So I would say my nuclear family, we're five.
Yeah.
Three boys, two girls. Yeah.
No, that's lovely. That's lovely. I think we like, how many are we? You know, that moment I'm like, how many are we again? Biological brother one, the rest of my cousins, so makes them one, two, three. So in my head, I've got like four siblings.
Mm,
So yeah, wow.
good for
So was
you.
mom and dad supportive in your dreams?
Dreams. Growing up, we saw an average working family. That's the kind of. My mom was they were both civil servants. My mom was entrepreneurial. So aside doing the work as a civil servant, she would also like she loved she was into catering as well. So would do cakes and stuff like that. So in terms of dreams, I'd say I wouldn't say. I think it was we were more rebellious. Let me put it that way. So we did things and not really seeking permission per se. And my parents were lenient, or they were not so controlling, I would say. So as long as it wasn't something that was devious or bad or evil, they wouldn't stop. They wouldn't stop us. Yeah. So at the point I was into martial arts. Did martial arts for some time. It's just that the guy who I was training with was into weed, and that was making us that was
That was a
gradually
plot
drifting,
twist.
drifting us away, and then we moved away from that. But music was my savior. Yeah, so music started first from church. Yeah, and so I would say my mom will always take us to church, and I think that was one thing. It's one thing I'm really grateful for, because I mean, had it not been for that, where else would we have? We'll probably be somewhere else. Yeah, because that was like the
My
core place for socialization as well. You know.
Yeah. One of my mentors, my spiritual father, always says, if Christ didn't catch you, you would have been an MC at a club.
You'd have been a what? MC in a
An
clap.
MC.
I get you.
Every time I'm humbled, I'm like, okay, okay, no, I'm loving that. And I love the fact that you say that as long as the plans that you wanted to do were not rebellious. And talking about supportive of dreams, let's talk about something huge that you are doing. It's called the Echo Our Dreams 10-year life planning program. What's that about? Walk me through that.
So I was just talking about my experience, right? So when I was in second year at the university, we one of our music directors sat me down, and not just me, but a few of us frontliners, and it was like, have you guys done a life plan? Have you done something like this? And we're like, no. And then he's like, no, this is something you guys must do. So he spoke about it, and he said you should plan your life maybe around this sector, for example, your career, your education, relationships, stuff like that. So I wrote them down. I think a couple of us wrote them down. But as to those who actually went forward to plan it, because it's hard work to do that. But me, I took it serious. I felt it was something that was good. So I went back. It took me, I think, a couple of months to sit down and do that. But when I did it, I'd planned my life for the next 10 years. I knew I wanted to do a master's. I did some of the psychological and temperament tests. So I got to know the kind of person I was. You recommended some books. I read them. Why you act the way you do. I read some of the books. So eventually I became more self-aware. I got to know myself better, and it helped me to plan my life and the kind of people I think I would do well with, the kind of job I think I'll do well with. So all of those things were kind of drawn out for me. I did that by myself. And so over the years, I saw how life played out. Even the points that were delayed and things that delayed, eventually they aligned because he spent lots of time thinking about it, visualizing it, writing it down. So eventually everything kind of aligned eventually. Yeah. And but what we see now is that most young people leave school, right? They leave school, they've graduated, they've qualified with their certificates, but they are unprepared for real life. And then what happens is that the system teaches us to pass the exam and everything, but nobody really learns about how to manage money. Even the business graduates know how to build
Yeah.
healthy
I'm a
marriages.
business graduate. I am a business graduate, and you mentioned a very emotional topic. Go on.
you know how to build healthy relationships, including romantic relationships, how to protect our mental health, how to discover the world around us, build intimacy with God, and like purpose, discovering purpose and living for purpose. So the result is that we find out that most of our young people eventually become very anxious in life, and they have the broken relationships. And then there's this general sense of, is that all there is? Why did I go through all of this university, all of that, and then this is that all that life is? So to avoid that, that's more about drifting. That's what I describe as drifting. Like when you come out and there is no clear plan in all these areas of life, then you just kind of drifting through it. What comes, you just pick up and accept what comes because you don't have a definite plan or purpose. So this program is set out to help people, young ones from 12 years, in fact, to 25, 25 years, yes, to start planning. So from high school to university students, university graduates, young adults, to plan out their lives across 9 areas. Yeah, should I mention the areas? Education.
Yes, I was waiting for that. Let me take my notebook out. I've got my notebook and my pen. So
You've got that.
please.
I've got mine here too. So education and learning, right?
Okay.
Career and purpose, finance and money, health and well-being, relationships, including romantic relationships and marriage, personal growth, spiritual and faith life, and then we have travel and experiences, then community and impact.
Go back to personal growth. I missed what happened. So it's relationship, personal growth.
Yeah, spiritual and faith life, like our faith life, our intimacy with God. Then we've got travel and experiences, you know, getting your groove on to explore the world, and community and impact.
Got that.
So these are the 9 areas, and working with young adults and youth to map out their lives for the next 10 years in these 9 key areas,
Can
over
I
6
repeat
weeks.
those?
Yeah.
Can I repeat the 9 key areas so that I know that I didn't leave something? So it's
Mm-hmm.
education and learning, career.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Mhm.
I wrote here.
And purpose, career and purpose.
I just wrote per. Career and purpose. So it's education and learning, career
Yeah.
and purpose, finance and money,
Yeah.
health and well-being, relationships, that includes romantic
I'll take
relationships,
relationship.
marriage. Then there's
Yeah.
personal growth. Then it's spiritual growth and your faith journey,
Yeah.
travel and experiences. Then the last one is community and impact.
Impact.
Walk
Yeah.
me through the vision.
Yeah, so I mean, by the time what we're giving the deliverables is that they come up, we're giving them a beautiful workbook that we've designed, a very engaging one workbook, and then there's a free personality and temperament assessment as well. The other one is the guided sessions, and that's even the big one, where we guide them through the coming out with a clear, measurable 10-year plan across these holistic areas. Yeah, so by the time they are leaving or graduating from the program, they'll have a clear plan that actually works, one that they own because they did it. We only come in to guide them whether it's myself or the other coaches or mentors, we only come in to guide them, prompting and getting everyone to do the right work to bring about the best in them.
I
Yeah.
love that. I want to
So,
dig into that because
yeah, cool.
I'm definitely a planner. I've got, funny enough, I think is it this book? It's either one of my journals. I've written like 5 year goals. So in my head, I'm like,
Oh,
okay, 5 years. In 5 years, I want to do this. It's just like paragraphs. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. But what's the difference between what I wrote as, I'm wondering where that book is, as a 5 year plan, and what's the difference between me just saying, oh, I want to get married. I want to start a business. I
mm,
want to go into ministry. I want to read my Bible. What's the difference between what I am writing in my diary every single year and
yeah.
your plan that you are giving me? What's the difference? What am I doing
Yeah.
wrong?
So that's a very good question. And the reason we didn't even start this at the onset or the beginning of the year is, you know how it's crazy at the beginning of the year. Everybody's setting up New Year resolutions, only to forget in February by February. So,
February
so
14,
we
we have
didn't
forgotten.
we didn't want this to be part of that craze at all. And this is long term. Yeah. So the difference is that we break it down. So, for example, if you talk, let's talk about marriage or relationships. I love that. So, let's take relationship for instance. If I don't know, say you're 25 and you're
I
looking at
am.
yeah, and you're looking at settling down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's say by in the next 10 years, you want to have settled down. So we'll start from there. So you project from the terminal end. So like, what's the desire? What's your desire by the next 10 years? So you're 25, you'll be 35 in the next 10 years. So what would you love to have accomplished in the sector or in the area of relationships? Yes.
Okay.
So,
Wasn't
so I
expecting
don't want
that.
to put you on the spot. So, or do you want to
Okay.
take it? I can do a guess now.
I can do I'll give like some hints and
Okay.
some things. Okay, so 10 years. I would have, okay, I would have wanted to get married, have
Uh-huh.
at least 2 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and have established the Lioness Taffy brand.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So is that
relationship
part of
wise,
the relationships?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's where you come in. Because in my head, I'm just like, so yeah,
That's
I would
that's
have
why the
gotten
workbook
married,
helps. Mhm.
kids, gotten married, kids. Now I'm tempted to say I want to be traveling, and I know it's part of that other travel point.
So good.
Oh,
Okay, but let's start with these two. So we have two, right? We have the marriage, we have 2 kids. So let's start from there. So that's the 10-year plan. So we now break it to we have 10 years, that's the terminal. We come to 5 years. So what should I have achieved by the fifth year? What should I have achieved by the third year? What should I have achieved in the first year to get to? So we break it down
mm,
from year one, year three, year five to year 10. So let's take the marriage one. So of course, by in the next 10 years at 35, your desire is to you should be married. You'd love to be married and have a child and have 2 children. So year one, what 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 can you do in year one? What should you have achieved in year one to get you to that point in year 10? But before then, you realize that I spoke about the understanding, being self-aware, knowing yourself. So we'll take you through the personality test and assessment.
mm,
And when you're done with that, you get to know who you really are in terms of your personality, your temperament, what kind of people or what kind of temperament or yeah, other temperament or personalities are attracted to you and why. So when you understand the why question, you'd be able to know maybe previous relationships, why they worked, why they didn't work, stuff like that. So it now brings everything forward. Things that were maybe um they were maybe latent, things that you've not really thought about but affected you in one way or the other, they now come forward. So you become more aware of these things. And yeah, so with that, you get to know yourself better. Then we also start talking about so what kind of person would be ideal for you. And you are doing all of this, which is not, we are not telling you, but based on what you've identified about yourself and knowing yourself, you now start digging deeper. So what kind of person would be ideal for me? That's one. And then the other one is, what kind of person do I have to be to get this person?
Come on. Come on, Jones. No, no, no. You know how as I'm thinking about you breaking it down, I'm like, in our heads, we grew up with the you must be tall, light skinned, muscular.
So it goes beyond the superficial, the traits you're talking about, to like the core things, and those are the things that sustain the relationship beyond the like the muscular and beauty and stuff like that. Yeah, and that really helps keep the relationship going. So when the challenges come in a relationship, whether it's the romantic one, you know like you guys know yourselves better, or you know yourself better, so yeah, you know how to approach the challenges, whether it's a challenge about miscommunication or how to communicate and all of that, because they will surely come. But this also helps with the boundaries. Being a sanguine, I like, yeah, I'm very sanguine, or very out there. One of the things I had, or the difficulties, the weaknesses I had, was setting boundaries. Like, because I didn't take myself seriously. So everybody, nobody also took me seriously, So,
Yeah.
but when I started getting to know myself, knowing my weaknesses, and I was like, oh, okay. So I had to now set boundaries, how, especially when I'm going out, how I relate with people, how I project myself, or how I appear. And so eventually I saw that, oh, okay, now people are taking me seriously. So all of that,
I wanna I
it's
wanna just
it that's
dip
a lot.
into something you said right now before you move on to the next thing. You said that people didn't take you seriously because you didn't take yourself seriously. But the moment that you decided to take yourself seriously, you started seeing other people take you seriously.
Yes, that's
That's
also because temperament, they are like, we are it's like who we are, and sometimes we don't have any control over it. So whether you are a melancholic or a phlegmatic or a choleric or a sanguine, and most of these temperaments, everybody has like two or three of a dominant and a secondary, so whichever one it is. But so the weaknesses are there, but what we can do is that when we know ourselves and we know where our strengths are and our weaknesses are, then we work towards maybe working more on the weaknesses, so that we can level the playing field. And for me, being like a dominant sanguine, one of my weaknesses was just being goofy and everything. Yeah, so it also meant that I didn't take myself seriously, and then eventually, and the reflection was that, oh, this guy is not serious. So then people wouldn't also take you seriously. Yeah. So until it was when I started taking myself, so working on that bit to make sure that I have clear boundaries, the way I appear, the way I talk to people, and stuff like that. Then people also started reciprocating that respect. So yeah. But these things will not just fall on your lap. You won't learn this in school. We won't learn this anywhere. You have to do this for yourself, and that's where we come in.
All right, so I'm diving back into, okay, we're talking about a 10-year plan that you will
Yeah,
be helping us. It's meant for anyone between 12 and 25, and I think
yeah,
even
but
older,
I know it.
even
Yes, even more. Yeah,
even more, because most of us really don't have a 10-year plan. And right now we're just dissecting on, let's say, if we want to do marriage, for example, and then you're breaking it down to us and saying, okay, cool, you have to evaluate yourself first. For some odd reason, I actually thought you were gonna tell me, oh, you need to date first. When it's like you were like, no, you need to evaluate yourself first. So no, my question to you is, I'm listening to you say all these things. 10 years ago, what did you do that led you to where you are right now? Give me maybe one sphere of your life in these 9 points, and then, yeah, just advise us as we go into that.
Wow, that's an excellent one. So 10 years ago, what did I do to get me to this point? 10 years ago, where was I? Um, 10 years ago, I was an urban planner. I'd left let me say, so I'd left my director of, what do you call it, marketing firm, and gone into public sector as an urban planner, specializing in the behavioral aspect of planning, and the reason I went there was, I left my job because it was getting, things were not being straight up, there was a conflict between my values and that of the CEO, so I had to leave because they were lying to the clients and it didn't align with me. So when I moved to the public sector, as a psychologist, working in urban planning, and this was a hardcore area, but the challenge I found was how we were pushing people into the margins of our cities, how our cities were planned, just like Cape Town. I think Cape Town is being a bit more inclusive, but we still have people, they chase people off the streets, vendors off the streets, and all of that. And majority of our urban dwellers were youth or are youth, and they can't afford the expensive stores and all of that. So my position was, how do we integrate informality into our formal planning? But our planners wouldn't have it, because that makes them feel like they failed, because then the city wouldn't look as bougie or as nice as they want it to look. Yeah, but my position was all about inclusion, and it's always been so. When I speak about social justice, I think also because when you I came from, like I said, a working class family. Parents were civil servants and all of that, so we struggle a bit through life, but we're not poor per se, but we struggle a bit through life. And when you go through that and you get to a space like you've come from the margins and getting through university and doing a master's degree and working at top level, because as the director of marketing, most of the clients, we're speaking to boards of directors of banks, freight companies, international companies, so we're dealing parliamentarians, we're dealing with like high level clients, so at with that exposure, you also see that you see the power imbalance, and when you get into a place where you see all of that, the place you've come from, being from the margins to a place of power, you now see how, like, you have a voice, right? And how do you use your position to empower those who are not where you are at the moment? So for me, that I would say that's how this whole idea about social justice and activism came from. Because once you see that you're a steward of the things that, and the opportunities and the privileges that you've had, then you feel that you need to give back, or you need to empower others so that they will also get the opportunity to be in your space. And that's been my underlying motivation for everything I've done, whether it's the Nkoso initiative, where we started supporting orphanages. And now we've moved into menstrual campaigns, menstrual hygiene, inclusive. We were distributing reusable parts. First, it was disposable parts, sanitary products, but it wasn't sustainable. So we transitioned to reusable parts. We taught indigenous communities, how to make them, and we provided the materials to make them, and also some of the parts as well. But we've transitioned to menstrual cups, moon cups, which are more sustainable. You can use one for like 10 years before you have to change it and all of that. It's more sustainable for the society or the community and the environment, but also for the ladies, because you just buy it once and you can use it for 10 years, as opposed to every month buying. In terms of the expense, we all know that the sanitary products are increasingly becoming very costly, so that was for Nkoso initiative. And for Voice One Africa, that you are very much aware of,
That's how we actually met.
that's it. you know It was the same passion, to, and with Voice One Africa, the motivation also started. I was looking now at the very macro level, the bigger level about Africa and how Africa can come together to deal with these colonial, the relics or the neo-colonialism, as it were. So how can we come together to become truly independent? And the power actually lies within the youth if we are able to come together and get to know ourselves. The reason the Pan-Africanism didn't work during the founding fathers' time in Nkrumah and Mugabe and all those people is because they were not exposed to each other's cultures. But you in South Africa, I'm in Ghana, somebody's in Tanzania, somebody's wherever, and we are able to connect. And eventually, we've come to build a network. We've come to know each other. Like, I was speaking about Mopani worms. I was speaking about pub. It would have sounded alien to me when you mentioned, because before I came to South Africa, I never knew anything about pub or Mopani worms or whatever. You see, and you were speaking of jollof. So this kind of networks and connections help us to know that we are very similar, and even though we are unique in terms of cultural, there are lots of cultural unique aspects of our cultures, but broadly speaking, we are very similar in the way our culture is, the way we behave generally. So when we see these similarities and also appreciate our unique aspects, we are more disposed to embrace each other. So when you become the president of South Africa or Zimbabwe, and I become the president of Ghana or something, we'll be able to say that, yes, we truly want our continent to be united and to be easy for us to do it, as opposed to our founding fathers, because they didn't really have that exposure. Everybody wanted to be the big boss. Yeah, so that was why we founded Voice One Africa, and gradually we're pushing on. And I think I've
You
taken
founded something else recently that was new to
Guiding
my
Light
eyes. It was
Press.
Guiding Light Press.
So
What's Guiding Light Press?
when we did we have our book out, right? The Echo African Dreams, Voice One Africa's first publication. I don't have a copy out. I've showed you, but yeah. So it's available on Amazon. It's everywhere. All the major bookstores online. You can order your copy, Echo African Dream. So that's already out. But we really struggle to publish that book because I think we finished writing it in, if I'm not mistaken, 2022. But we only published it in 2025. So I realized that we need a publishing arm. We need a place where, when it's time for us to come up with our publications, our content, we will not struggle to get voice. So that's why when I moved to the UK, and after the lady who published our book, we published the book here in the UK, that book, and she became my mentor. And after a couple of years now, she taught me the trade secret, and and I founded the Guiding Light Press. So we are anchored in decolonial perspectives. It's the same vision, basically, to empower the marginalized. And now you're just looking, it's Africa, but it's also Christian, because the church has been manipulated. And now I'm bringing the faith aspect inside. The church and religion has been used as a force to manipulate and to control lots of people. And how do we desensitize Christians against such manipulation? So Echo, like Guiding Light Press is the platform, to push against these colonial perspectives, whether it's coming from religion or Christianity, or whether it's coming from geopolitical or economical, wherever it's coming from. And so that's the publishing arm of I'll say a publishing arm of Voice One Africa, but it's located in the UK. And it's serving a more broader
No,
network.
it's definitely great. I'm listening to everything. It feels like a 10-year plan that you did there. So you went from being a marketing director to, you also did lecturing, And then through that, you find all these three bodies: Voice One Africa, Ngos, Nkosu. Tell me, how do I say it?
Nkosua. It means
Nkosue.
Nkosua. Nkosua.
Nkoso. It's like Ohotise. All right, Ohotise. Nkoso. Nkoso. I tried. So you went on to finding Voice One Africa, the initiative, and then guiding life press. And this is when did this all start? Because it's giving, I've done this for like all my life. When did this all start? This is the 10-year plan that we're talking about. As you were starting all of this, which person said something to you to be like, okay, you should do this, this is how your life is going to go? Like, I'm not sure by the time you founded all these bodies if you were married by then or not, but then who said something to you so that your mind is shifted? Because you just don't wake up and be like, I'm going to be an advocate. You just don't wake up and say, I'm going to fight against inequality within my African space. Where did that stem from?
Okay. So when I did my 10-year plan, right, I was only in my second year at university. But what I told myself after I read the books and put in the hard work, I knew that I was going to do a master's degree. I knew that what I wanted to do, I wanted freedom. I didn't want to be tied to a particular job. I'm the kind of person, I got to know myself, like I was saying, self-aware. I want to have my independence. I don't want to be tied to a job where you're just there, you can't do anything else, that kind of thing. That wasn't me. So I knew academia was probably my main place to be. Yeah. So I knew I had to do a master's degree. But things didn't work out exactly, and that's how life is. It's not linear, it's not straight up. So after I did my master's, I realized, no, I need to. And so I did that. I did the marriage component and all of that. So by plan, I should have married right after university, because I was also tying it to my age and all of that. But it didn't work out that way too, because I didn't have a job, I didn't have money and all of that, so yeah. So the fact that you do the plan, I'm just putting it out there. The fact that you do the plan does not mean that everything will go according to plan. As of now, I've still not attained one of the things I wrote in my 10-year plan as of then. It's been more than 10 years now, but I've still not attained one of them, which is getting my PhD. I actually deferred my PhD to come to the UK. I chose my PhD opportunity to go to Canada. I chose to come to the UK because I felt that maybe coming to the UK and working in social care for 5 years will give me the opportunity to settle, and then I'll do my PhD afterwards. Once I'm settled, I could always do a PhD. Yeah, but I'm beginning to regret that because of some of the regulations that they are trying to change and everything. But yeah, that was a decision I made. But I'm still going to do it eventually. Yeah. So when I graduated from my first degree, I launched my music career as a musician. I came out with my first EP. And when I did that, part of the proceeds I wanted to give to the orphans and the poor. So I chose orphanages. And that was when I started the Nkosua Initiative Foundation. So and we're targeting outskirts, orphanages in the outskirts. So that was how Nkosua Initiative started in, I think, 20. So I didn't start Nkosua Initiative then, but we started the giving out, like going to the orphanages and giving. But then I had not started the organization. The organization actually started when I came back from Israel. I went to Israel for a 1-month training in what do you call it? Rural revitalization. So it's about like how we can, as Africa or the global South, we can take ownership of our development. And Israel offered this training to us. And so I was there for a month with several others from almost everywhere in the world, from Eastern Europe, from Latin America, from Southeast Asia, and from Africa. Yeah. So from that training, when I came back, I registered in Nkosua Initiative and in 2017 and started a program, an agribusiness program, still in partnership with the orphanage. So from there, yes, we kept going on and doing all of that. But eventually, we did I came to South Africa I went to Yali. I became a Yali fellow. You know, the Yali Obama, where Obama started the Young African Leaders Initiative. So it's very competitive.
Yeah.
But when I applied, I got through it. And after the training, my mentor, Charles Van Dyke, who is one of the directors of WACSI, West African Civic Society Initiative. Yeah, it's a big man. So I got the opportunity of learning from him, and he became my mentor with civic empowerment or civil society leadership. So I learned a lot from him, to how to be a civic leader. So from there, not long after the Yali program, I eventually came to South Africa, and then I started Voice One Africa.
Yeah.
So Voice One Africa had a lot to do with going to Israel, learning from how Israel, after independence, became the power that they are, how they defied. And I know Israel is not very popular now, but the tactics they used to become the people they are now, they taught that to us. And from there, and then also going through the Yali program, combining these two gave me what I needed to know, and the empowerment to start Voice One Africa, a Pan-African youth movement. So I started the Pan-African youth movement. And then now being in the UK, and I'm learning from my mentor here, Sabrina Ben Salmi, who also has been she's an outstanding lady, a leader as well here in the UK, sitting on several boards and stuff like that. So being here and learning from her as well has also gave me that strength or that empowerment. I must say that because moving from Africa, where I would say I'm underemployed in the UK. Let me put it straight up. Yeah, in the UK, because I hold 2 postgraduate degrees, right? After my master's degree in social psychology, I also did another master's degree in urban studies from the UCT, University of Cape Town, which is it's like one of the top universities in Africa, and in fact in the globe, across the world. UCT is in part of the top 100 universities, so from there to now come to the UK and be working in social care, is underemployment. And given the caliber of work I've done, the high level programs and institutions I've worked with, I'm definitely underemployed here. So I did feel underemployed. I'm unemployed and really a bit undervalued and all of that. So meeting Sabrina and speaking with her and all of that, she really helped me to stabilize and to find my feet, and speaking to me and encouraging me and wanting to know what I've done in the past and all of that. She was like, "No, you're doing great. So you shouldn't stop yourself because you're employed."
I'm gonna stick on that point of mentorship, because you've mentioned a few mentors as the conversation has gone.
Yeah.
What is the importance of mentorship to young people? Why should we get a mentor? Because nobody wants to be told what to do, but then why should we get a mentor? Because you speak highly of it.
Yeah. Sincerely, I think if I didn't have them, especially Sabrina, being in the UK and the situation where I found myself, being in the UK, being in South Africa was good training for me to come to the UK, because among other things, I learned to stay in my corner. In other parts of Africa where I've been, so whether it's Ghana or Nigeria, people are into everybody's business. You meet somebody, you just everybody's in everybody's business. But that's not the situation in South Africa. Everybody's in their corner. I only talk to you if I know you. If I don't know you, just go your way. I don't care. Yeah. And so that was like a bit of a cultural shock and an introduction to the UK for me. So when I came to the UK, I knew that, okay, it's as cold as South Africa, but it's colder, so I mean cold in terms of attitudes. not just the temperature, but like cold in terms of attitudes, you know. And so being here and all of that, the tendency of being depressed is one, feeling anxious, and the tendency of beginning to feel like I was sharing the underemployment, undervalued. You feel that you've made a wrong decision, and all of that. Those things come up, you know. So I was feeling those. But the communities I joined, I joined the church. You know, I'm a reverend minister. But I joined
Yes, I
the
was gonna
church.
dig deep into that also. Now I'm seeing like we've got about 30 minutes
Oh
left. I'm like,
goodness.
okay, go Rev.
I joined
Yes.
the church here, and unfortunately they acknowledged that I was a reverend minister, and yes, I was supporting them with music and all of that. So they held a conference, a parenting conference, and that was when Sabrina came. She was one of the panelists. She spoke, and among all the panelists, she was the one I felt most connected to. So after the conference, I approached her and I introduced myself. And I said, so she asked me, she asked me just one question. So what kind of person do you want to be, or where do you see yourself? And I said, I don't know where it came from. I was like, the person I want to be like is Madiba, Nelson Mandela. And she was like, she's never heard that before. Like, she's spoken to lots of people, but she's never heard that before. So she was like, okay. So we exchanged contact, and that was how we started talking. She wanted to know more about me and stuff like that. Yeah. So as we kept on talking, she saw that this guy is doing a lot or has done a lot, but he feels depressed or maybe demotivated or something. So what she had to do was ask me questions, and that was one thing I love about her. So she's not, and that's the thing about a true mentor is not going to be directing you, do so, do that, do that, do that. Like when I was talking about the 10-year life plan, we're not going to be telling you what to do. We're just asking you the questions, the right questions to probe. So you do the work. Yeah, you do the hard work. The work of the mentor is just to push you, you know. So that's exactly what she
Give
did
me a
to me.
list of Give me a list of things that you have experienced from a mentor. What are some things that a mentor has taught you? Like if you're a writer, you just say that they don't just say do, do, do. Give me like maybe a five things that you have learned from a mentor, that a mentor does this, a mentor does that.
I'd say a mentor will share their experience with you. They'll be vulnerable with you, so you see that they are not coming from like what do you call it? They are not on the pedestal. They don't want to create the situation where I'm here and you are here. You know, they don't want to create that. Yeah. So they want to show that, okay, we can be at the same level. Because I want you to be at my level, you know. So that's one. The next one I'll say is that the mentor is not going to be telling you what to do, but we'll just be asking you the difficult questions you're dodging, the ones you don't want to answer. You know, so those two, you said five. What else? The mentor will probably schedule maybe a monthly call, maybe if it's just 1 hour or 40 minutes. So that's what she did with me. Maybe she's like, oh, can you let's schedule a call for maybe a 1 hour call for next week or this month. When would you be available? Let's schedule something. So we just go on a call for 30 or 40 minutes, depending on how it's going. And yeah, what else? I think these three are the key ones, because the fact that they create the opportunity for you to be at their level or to speak to them freely and openly is one big one. The second one is about how they are not telling you or instructing you what to do, as it were, but asking you the tough questions and pushing you to the corner to answer the question, to dig deep into yourself and come up with the responses or the solution. So sometimes it's not even just about answering on the phone, but afterwards you have to sit down and do it. And then when you get on the next call, you talk to her about, okay, so I did this, or I did that, or so stuff like that. Then the third one being, what was the third one again?
You had mentioned that they schedule a monthly
Yeah, the
call,
scheduling.
maybe.
Yes,
Yeah.
the scheduling, because otherwise then there will not be a follow-up, or it will just be sporadic. But since it's scheduled, you know that, hey, I'll be speaking to Sabrina, so I need to plan something. You know, yeah.
I love that. My notebook is definitely going to be full because we mentioned all these 9 points, and then now we've got these 3 points that you did dig into, and I'm just like wowed. Obviously, at the same time, it's like, so how does a person find a mentor or someone to train them? Do I just like, for you say that out of all the panelists that spoke, she connected with you the most, or you were connected to her the most. So what about the rest of us as youth? Because there's so much information on social media. How do I know who to pick? Or do I say, maybe for relationships I take this, maybe for travel I take this, maybe for just trying to get the other point, personal growth, I take that. So how do I find a mentor, someone that guides me along the way?
I think, oh no, I think if you are thinking of all these 9 areas, the 9 areas, I'm not sure if we need a mentor in each of the 9 areas. What we need for these 9 areas in terms of the um, 10-year life planning program is an accountability partner. So the person could be a mentor, but it's just an accountability partner, somebody that would hold you to those values that you've set, the targets that you set. You can meet up maybe every month or every 2 months or something. But definitely when you do your self-assessment, like getting to know yourself well, one of the things you know is the kind of people that you are connected to. You already know it, but maybe it's not really in front of you. So maybe it becomes something that you do automatically. But when you now become self-aware, you know why such people you're aligned or you're attracted to such people. So for me, when I got to know that my female part or the female virtues or female, I work better with females than with males. I mean, if I'm working with a male, the person is not going to be that type A arrogant man. I don't click with such guys. Yeah, we'll fight. We're going to be at loggerheads. That it doesn't work with me. So
Yeah.
so for me, after doing all of that, I came to embrace that feminine part of myself, if you want to call it that. But that made me also know that I work better with females than with males. Yeah.
Makes sense. Love that. Now I've got like some wrap up questions. I think most of the questions, one thing I do love is that you've touched like on all of them. So now in my head, I'm just like, okay, we've touched this, we've touched that, we've touched this. But I just want a brief, you're a reverend. How did that come about? Like, when did the call come? Like, what happened? Nobody wakes up and decides I'm gonna be a reverend. Walk me through that.
So I got to know God. I mean, as of like we're a Christian family, right? So growing up and all of that. But then when I was in high school, like JHS, junior high school. After year 6, you go to junior high school for 3 years before you go to senior high school. So when I was in junior high school, that was when I started becoming serious with God. I remember going to stand in front of the class to preach, and my hands were shaking like that. I had written the sermon down on a paper, and I was preaching, and my hands were shaking. But I went through with that anyway. And since then, I became very confident speaking and preaching. That was my first encounter in terms of like leadership, in the sense of like standing in front of people to do something. That was it, the beginning. However, the point where I would say that really became born again, where I recall giving my life to Christ, was when I was going to senior high school. I was in the bus going to the school, and the man preached in the bus, and I confessed Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. So my turning point, or my born again experience, was in the bus when somebody preached on the bus. Yeah. And being in high school, I was into prayer a lot. I wasn't even into music. So prayer was the key thing I was doing, a lot of prayer. And then I became Bible study coordinator, and eventually became president of the Presbyterian Methodist Students Union. I became the school chaplain. In my 4th year, I was the school chaplain. Yeah, the prefect for chaplain. Then from there to the university, and whilst doing all of this, I founded a music group in my local church. Yeah, and came to the university, music. So from that junior high school, just when I was about 11, 12 years old, from that point, through, yeah, it's like it's been that way, like the commitment to God and working with God, so that's how it went. The university, music directing, church leadership,
Yeah.
and all of that, doing room to room preaching, done broadcastings, going for crusades,
So
all
you
of
just
that.
took one moment in the bus and that was it. And you were hooked.
you know
Wow. And then you went into music because I know you're also a music minister. Where did that come from? When did you realize that, oh, I can do music or I really want to share my experiences with people? Where did
It,
that
it
come
was
from?
it was prayer. Well, I used to pray. Like I mentioned, my ministry started as an intercessor, like praying. And whilst I was doing all this prayer, that I think there was a desire. I had a desire to sing. But my mom was a singer. My father was a singer. I didn't even know my dad was a singer, but my mom, I knew she was a singer. Yeah. So yeah. So as I used to pray a lot, I desired to sing, to become a very good musician, to sing. So I used to pray a lot about it. And one day I just felt that their grace had come upon me. And I formed an a cappella group in high school, in my senior secondary school. We were called the Vessels of Righteousness. That was our name, Vessels of Righteousness. Yeah.
This was
We used
of
to
righteousness. It's giving Zion, Mount Zion.
we used to go for competitions, singing and all of that. Yeah, but all through that journey, and yeah, I became a reverend minister. I was ordained in 2014. Yeah, 2014. That was when I was ordained as a reverend minister. Having served, I mean, we did a Bible school in the church as well for several years, and then I served for over how many years? Now my call is not. But you see, sometimes people mistake in this. You are not a reverend minister because maybe you've gone to a Bible school and you've been ordained. Sometimes there are two positions to this, right? I knew I was already called even before I was ordained as a reverend minister. Some people, they go to the Bible school or they go through a course to be ordained, and then they are reverend ministers. So when Paul talks about, when Jesus himself says that I'm sending you to go into the world and to make disciples of all nations, Paul went to the different churches and he was ordaining elders and deacons and all of that. So sometimes it's not everybody who is ordained that would have an explicit call from God to say that, oh, you are, like, you hear the voice of God saying that, oh, I've called you as a so and so or something. No, sometimes the leadership, or the apostle, or the one who has the vision, the explicit vision or mission from God, can appoint you and anoint you, just like the way Paul was going to the churches and ordaining elders and deacons and stuff like that. Yeah. But even though
That's
I haven't started a ministry, I don't think I'm going to start like a church, say my church or something.
yeah.
But I knew I was called, and I feel all these things I'm doing is within my calling.
I
Yeah. So
literally wanted to say that. I love that. I'm in awe because today's conversation, or should I say this month's conversation, is all about purpose, impact, and faith. And most of the conversation, we've definitely spoken about impact. Now we have touched on faith, and I feel like purpose, we've already delved into that. And now to the last point, well, the last questions for you. What is
mhm.
something that we need to unlearn as young people going forward after this conversation?
Hmm. That's a good
Love
one.
this. Yeah.
So I think social media has become a big thing. It's influencing almost everything we do. I think we have to, it's going to be difficult, but I think we have to withdraw from social media. We should take fasting, like social media fastings. You see, let me tell you the truth. Most of the things that I was able to found or do, most of them I had to really seclude myself. Like I had to
Yeah.
like be 100% focused, like, go away from everything and put my everything into this. I can't tell you the number of hours I've put into Guiding Light Press, and even into the 10-year life planning program. to even get to this stage. We've not launched it yet. We'll be launching early May, and we'll have a free pilot that will come out. We'll have a sample, a few people to come on the program for piloting. But truth is, you have to withdraw from this social media and the distraction so that you can now focus to be able to look within and build whatever is within you to bring it out. Because what we are watching on social media is people who have also sat down to do whatever they've brought out of themselves. So if you really want to be able to do that and to become a person of impact or make meaningful impact in people's life, you have to do that. You have to withdraw from the big screens and all of that and do this in your small space. Then become somebody that you will add value to other people.
Ooh, powerful. A wise man or woman once said, finish this food.
Taffy, thank you.
It's the last question. It's just like,
No, it was a difficult one because I didn't know what to say. I know there are lots of things to say, but I had to find out what worked for me or what advice can I give to anybody. And I think that's a very, because that's how I've been able to do anything I've been able to do. So I think it's if anything, it's one of my secrets. Yeah.
I don't like the fact that you're not sharing your secret with us, but it's fine.
No, this is a big secret. But this is a very big one. This is a very big one, Taffy.
Okay. It's a big one, but give me something generic that I can hold on to. Give me something generic. One liner. Okay, to me, maybe not to the world, to Tafazo. Ha, I got you there.
One liner.
What would you tell? Yeah, what would you tell Tafazo right now?
I think you should be more daring.
Ooh. I don't like that.
Taffy, that's it. I think we should be more daring. Even for me, it's something I'm still working on, but being more daring. Yeah, to take bold steps.
I ooh. I think we can end this live because of what just happened. Like what just happened, but yo, be more daring. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting something to speak to my spirit, my core, my body, my being and everything I'm doing. Thank you for that.
Thank you,
And
Taffy.
any final words as we go forward? It's not your first, it won't be your last live session with me because I'm gonna come back and be like the accountability partner and be like, from our last conversation, how's life so far? So any last words to the audience?
Hi guys, I want you to check out my music. The Joe Quarcoo, or you just my name there, or Joe Quarcoo, whichever one. I've got new songs coming out. I'm featuring Thandika Dladla on Seek and Save, Yada on El Shaddai. You've got my you look beyond me, yo. So I featured her in a song, and it will be coming out soon. El Shaddai. Yeah, and check out Guiding Light Press, subscribe to our channels, and look out for the 10-year life planning program. I think it's going to be very impactful for those who enroll. Parents can enroll their children in the program, their teenagers. It's not going to be entirely free. The pilot is going to be free. We'll run versions that are highly discounted for the global majority, the global south, if you like it. And even in the UK, we're going to be running virtual sessions and in-person sessions as well. But we're trying to get partners to make it even more subsidized for everybody, very accessible to everyone. So please look out for us. And yeah, God bless you.
Love that. So we've got, I think I did miss you a bit. It's got the program that is running. It's the Echo Our Dreams 10-year planning program. And you did say that it's starting in May, right? And you're launching it in May. All right.
Yeah.
So we cannot wait to see that. But it's been a pleasure, Reverend, to have you on this platform. I am honored and I am humbled to have you. It's been a mind-blowing experience. reshaping experience. So if there's anything that we can take away from this is don't 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 sit on yourself, don't undermine yourself. You're not small, you're definitely this large vessel. And right now we spoke to a vessel that's very huge, and he's just humble about it. He's just humble about it. But let me remind you his accolades, so that for those that just joined us at the end, the person we were speaking to today is Reverend Joseph. He is an urban scholar, applied social psychologist, faith leader, publisher, musician whose work sits around the intersection of faith. He has founded Voice One Africa, Guiding Lives Press, and then there is Nkosweni Initiative founder also. If you like the work he's doing, follow him on all his social platforms. He's got music that's coming out left, right, and center. Definitely, it will bless your life. It's the Lioness Taffy once again signing out. I love you guys. And once again, thank you so much for everyone that is liked, shared, commented, posted. We did see some hearts. I did see some roses and hearts going on. Let me just like scroll through the chat. There's like I saw Joe Man's Cave. Thank you so much for the hearts. Then I saw Akatendeka with the roses. Thousands of roses. Thank you so much for that also. And I can't scroll to the others, but thank you to Ink Media, has been a very visible character in this social platform. And to everyone that has joined us, we say thank you. The ones that have followed us, do follow us on our TikToks, Facebook, YouTube, and all these other platforms. Just search us and we will definitely see you there. So thank you so much, Rev, once again. It's been an honor.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, guys.
So,
I can't wait to have you once again.
yeah, I'd love to be here again.